Welcome back to another episode of Red Nova, like the Gray here. So, some changes. All figures now are on these little stands that I finally got, and our green die is our character Starv. I'm looking for a figure to represent him. However, this might be the final episode. We will see. Because this yellow stand here, that's our guy. He is the person of interest. We don't know much about him yet, but they're dealing with something at the moment. So, what we're looking at is the final climb to the observatory. If we're looking at this from a bird's eye view, this is the top of the hill. There's nothing we can see from this angle, kind of from the right side, a right angle, straight on. So this is the car, or that's, I should say, pickup truck that we heard squealing down the road, but they ran out of gas or blew a tire or something happened. But while these guys were coming down, as they heard the screams, I thought of the technology that this gang would have. I haven't really implied anything as far as if they have walkie-talkies or radios or some kind of dispatch system. I'm going to say they have walkie-talkies, just to kind of fill the void. So they rushed down. They were the first to respond, but their truck ran out of gas. Like I said, popped a tire. Something happened. So now they're on foot, and they're encountering, in the moment, we have Starv. Then the rest of the available troops for the diehards, including the boss, he's right there, they left the gate, but they ran into a common occurrence, and that had to do with the wildlife. We're looking at two wild frogs, large mutated frogs, that are hopped in to feast on some fresh meat here. And while they're dealing with those two fiends, we're dealing with these two. We have a cloaked individual, and we have another cloaked individual. So these two are stopping Starv and are about to get in the fight. Now, while we have to, again, there's a lot going on here, so we have to do this by turns. Let's first focus on Starv. Again, Starv is on a rampage. He's pulling on John Wick. He's a wild card, and so is the boss. Don't forget, the boss is also a wild card, but that is the guy. Starv doesn't know this yet. We do, because of that yellow figure stand. Now, let's roll for the encounter between Starv and these two. Red die is the enemy. Blue is Starv, and the wild die aids Starv. And it looks like we go first, even with that tie between both dice. Starv barely gets in, barely goes first. So he's going to attack this individual here with his usual brass knuckles as he runs up close. Again, Starv is on a killing spree. He's tired, he's out for revenge, and he wants to get to the top of, he's so close, despite what's happening up here, he wants to get past these two low-level characters. So we're rolling for fighting in a D8. This is for the attack. And that's a 5 and a 2, which means the hit is successful on the wild die. Now, the brass knuckles is strength plus the D4. Let's see what happens. Oh, that D4 went flying, but it's not a hit because the toughness of these two are D6s. And we do have 3 new bennies. So, oh, I'm sorry. Toughness is 6. This is 7. The D4 was a 2, and the D6 was a 5. That's a hit. So they take, or that single, this character takes a shaken. Now it's their turn. And we'll track the turns with this old die right here. Let's go to this first character on the left. He's going to run up with a knife and strike at Starv. Starv is going to, let's see, this will be a D6. Our parry is 6. That's a fail. Starv is able to dodge. Now we are on to the shaken character. He has to do a spirit roll. 4 or better. 6 is exploding. That is a success. He's able to get that shaking condition off. Okay, now that's all he can do. That's a free action. So the free action would be mm, nothing at the moment. So back to Starv. Starv is going to pull out his Desert Eagle and step back to fire at both of these individuals. So here's what we'll do. That's 2 actions, multi-action. The first shot will have no penalty. The second shot will have a penalty, and we'll do -2. So we're doing the first shot, which is a D8 plus 1, which actually is a scope, and there is no scope in the Desert Eagle, so that's just a standard D8 plus the wild die. No penalty in the shot. This is going after him. That's a failure. Now -2 on shooting on the gentleman on the right. The 8 actually aces with another D8. And that's going to be a hit with a couple of raises, actually. So 4 is the target number. And we have, let's see, 8 is 1 raise. And then that's going to be 12, 13. That's 2 raises. So it's 1d6 damage. The Desert Eagle's 2d8s plus the 1d6. Okay, we have 5, 4, 9. That's 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's going to be a wound, fuss. He is defeated. So now it's down to this one here. While all of that was happening, up here, let's say we're not going to really roll out the entire combat, but we're going to do what I call a survival check with the Oracle. 35% chance that, I'd say actually 50% chance that one of these 6 have been killed. So let's say 50% chance. If not, the battle's still going. Okay, 1 has been killed. Now 50% chance, or I should say 75% chance is the bullfrogs. Yep, it is. Okay, so they were able to fend off one of the mutated bullfrogs, the large frogs. And let's say they've gone down the hill just a tad, like so. This guy stays at the gate. Okay, now back to our fight here. This guy is going to attack. Let's ask the Oracle, does he have a weapon? An actual gun? 50% chance he does. He does not. He is entirely close range. Let's say he left his gun back at the base. I don't know why. So he rushes up to Starv, and he's going to attack with his knife. I'm assuming machete, perhaps, which fit the theme here. And that's a D6. Standard D6. That's a miss. Back to Starv. He's up close, so Starv is going to use his survival knife to cut back as he puts his gun away. I won't count that as a move. Typically, I think you're supposed to if you use situational rules. So fighting is a D8 plus the wild die. Let me read. 3 is unfortunately not a hit. That's a miss. Next is this individual. So it's becoming really back and forth. He's going to turn quickly up to see where his team is, and they're still dealing with the frog. Like so, not much has happened since that transition. So that's his free action to look back, and now he looks back, is going to attack. He's going to attack Starv. And that will be a D6. 4 is not a hit. Okay, now Starv's turn. Starv has the survival knife, which is fighting D8 plus a D6. That's going to be hit the D4 with the 4, the universal parry I like to use for the enemies. That's a hit, so now we roll for damage. It'll be a D8 or D6 for strength. Let's see, and a D4. Roll it for damage. Oh, the D4 aces. Let's see. And that's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 3 over the toughness, so that's going to be a shaken, like so. And now we're back to this character. He has to do a shaken, a spirit roll. 3, that's a fail. So he's still shaken, can't do much. He's on the ground, hurt. Starv is going in and going for his head with the knife. He's going to cut straight through the guy's neck to finish him off. And I'll give him a +1 on this move, on this fatality. This will be a D8 and the wild die. +1. So the D8 aces. And that's going to be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 total, so that's going to be an extra D6 of damage. Plus the +1, I'm saving for damage. With the survival knife, that's going to be the D6 and the D4. As I try to grab it on my tray here. +1. I'm going to definitely keep that. It aces. Look at that. So, consider that a 4. That's 10, 12. And just for that, he coughs out his blood and dies. But for that move, I'm going to give an extra Benny as a reward for Starv. So now he has 4. Okay, so let's figure out what happened, what transpired further up the hill. Okay, Oracle question. Has anybody died? I'm going to say 75% chance. That is a negative. They're still fighting this frog. This frog keeps getting pushed back. And the boss is actually closer. While these 3 here, the guard of the gate actually sees Starv and shouts that he sees an intruder as we killed, remember, these 2 right here. Again, Starv is on just John Wick mode right now. Okay, so while they're dealing with that frog, Starv is going to quickly run behind this truck and hide, check his ammo. Ammo check, 75% chance, or 50 actually, for either of his weapons. Ammo, I'm not really tracking bullet type or per gun. 50% chance, he has plenty of ammo. Okay. Now, Starv is going to pull out his Desert Eagle and look through his scope to see who exactly is coming down. This guy has a long-range weapon too, and is going to fire at Starv, while Starv is also doing the same, but does not see this guy up here. This guy's actually laying down, kind of like a sniper would, or let's say crouched behind this tree, and has a scope on Starv. Judging from that angle, the truck, probably a -1 or 2 penalty. So this guy's going to take a shot at Starv. The D6, -1 or 2. It does ace, so... Oh my gosh, this is not good. Alright, so what we got here is a hit. 6, 12, 14, that's an extra D6 damage. That's clearly a hit, even with a -2. That's well within distance also. So an extra D6 damage. So we're rolling 2D6 for the rifle and a 3rd for damage. Starv took a shot. He was careless. And that's going to be an exploding D6. Shoot, this is not looking good for Starv. Alright, so that's going to be... Oh my gosh, that's terrible. We have 11, 15, 13, 14, 15 damage. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay a Benny to soak that in. So, that's 15 damage off our toughness of 8, which would be, let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12, that's 1, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so 16 would be 2 raises. We have 11, 15. Alright, so we have, 1 second. That's 2 raises, which would be 2 wounds. But Starv is going to spend both bennies to to soak the rolls, and this requires a vigor roll. So the first one, we'll do a D8 with a D6. Okay, the first one's good. So the first wounds, let's track wounds also. Technically, he does take the wounds. So we soak the first one, and now the second one. We are also able to soak. So this one takes that one out. Okay, we got very lucky. However, we spent 2 bennies on countering that, which is not something I wanted to do, but we had to. Okay, so that shot just it flies right past his head. He ducks because of that modification, and now Starv is over here. That was a hell of a shot, though. Starv is aiming his scope at who he thinks looks familiar. So we're going to do a notice roll, which will be a D4. With the scope, this is a +1. This is not a shot. He's just using the scope to see who that is. And a notice roll is a D4 and a D6 wild die, +1 with a scope. And the ace is there. We have an ace of the D4 and okay, that's 6. So +1, that's 7. I think a raise would have given a clear shot, but a success means he recognizes this guy right here, and that's the scar. That's the guy who killed his family. So he's right there, literally within his reach. And Starv is now going to take a shot. While that was happening, the gunshot, this guy was shooting at Starv. Let's do a check here. 80% chance one of these 4 dies. Okay, yep. And because it was so 75% chance it's the frog. It is. Okay, so the last frog has been killed, which was a minor nuisance, and now Starv has a clean shot at our other wild card. So he takes whatever weapon he's holding. He's holding like a, kind of like just a sharp weapon of sorts. Not too sure what that is. It's kind of curvy. Just don't recall off the top of my head what that is. But it's definitely a knife of sorts. Now, Starv has a shot here. It's going to do its shooting. Because this is revenge, I will allow a +1. A +1 on the shots, because this is the guy. So what I'll do is a D8 for the survival. I'm sorry, a D8 for shooting. The D6 wild die. The scope adds a +1 plus another 1 for the fact that this is revenge. So +2 on this roll coming up. And damage. The 5 is barely a hit. Now we roll damage with the Spencer Carbine rifle, which will be 2d8s and a +2 on damage. So he takes a shot. It hits. 5. But what I have not mentioned is how tough this guy is. He's going to be a D8 enemy. So his toughness is equal to ours. But his parry is 4. Again, my universal rule, house rules, all enemies parry is 4. Not just for shooting, but for close range combat. But again, this is shooting, so we kind of fall within the rules. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is only a shaken. He takes a shot and it hits off his armor. So he's shaken. We are now in combat. And Starv is outnumbered here just a bit, but he's against the very man who killed his family. Not in the observatory, we're literally on the hill up to it. And now let's roll for initiative to see who takes the first round, the first go here. And it looks, oh my gosh, they do. And with an ace too. That's 9. So yeah, they get an ace on that, giving them an extra d6 for attack. So here's what I'm going to do. He has a gun. He's going to pull out his rifle. from his back and shoots. And it's an old rifle, but he pulls it and shoots at Starv. He doesn't recognize Starv just yet. He's just going to shoot. And this is obviously a wild die. He's a wild card, so he gets a wild die. And an extra d6 for hit. We're shooting for 4. This is not good for Starv. Oh, okay, so the 7 actually hits. His shooting die. It hits Starv. That's not a raise. That's a shaken. Oh, we gotta roll for damage. That's right. Damage will be, let's see, 2d8, similar to Starv. Let's use the 2 red d8s I have here somewhere. There it is. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's oh, snake eyes. Oh, right. So, though it's just for damage. 2. It hits off the truck, and Starv has just some, not shrapnel in his eyes, but just some the dust. It gets in his face. But you know what? I just realized we need to do a shaking condition for our enemy here. So 4, that's a spirit roll, that's not success. So I messed up there. I'll let it slide, but that's okay. We're moving on. Next is this lady here. She has a gun. She gets in range, and she fires at Starv. She's an extra, so no extra d6. The red d6 here. That's a fail. This one gets in the range here, steps on the side. He shoots. That's a erase. A's. That's an 8, so that's going to be a hit with an extra d6 because that's 4. That's a raise over. 2d6. Oh my gosh. You gotta be kidding me. Starv it's not his day. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this is not looking good. So that's going to be 6, 12, 18, 19 damage at Starv. Starv has a toughness of 8. Okay. We have to soak some wounds here. Let me do the math here. Alright, so what we got here is basically 2 raises, because his toughness is 8. Plus 12, 16, that's 19 total damage. So, once again, we got to spend 2 bennies to take out 2 wounds. And let's do the first one. This will be another vigor roll. That is a fail. Shoot. 3-2. Darn it. Okay. So the first one failed. He has the first wound. That's spent to Benny. The next one. Oh, an ace. This is good. That might actually work out. There it is. My other D8. 5. Okay, so that's going to be 13. That's 2 raises. 8, 12. That's 2 raises, which means he actually is able to lose both of his wounds. But he is out of Benny, so no more story hacks, no more soak and roll wounds, no more easily getting rid of shaken, no more rerolls. Starv is on his own right now. He does not have my help with that game rule, that game mechanic of Benny's. So we have to really play it safe here. So he did not take. He's actually. I think he actually is shaken though. I might have forgot that last time. So he is shaken, but it's not our turn yet. It goes back up here to the gatekeeper who has that long range weapon. He takes another shot at Starv. This would be a typical D6. 3. That's a fail. So the bullet flies past his head. Starv is back to him. We have to do a spirit roll, which is a D6. And the wild die of a d6. Okay, the wild die aces. I'm sorry, the d6 aces, the regular d6. That's going to be a 10. That's 1 raise, which means I'm going to go crazy here. I'm going to give him a Benny back for that raise. He does lose the wounds, but nothing else. This is most likely the final video episode of the series, so I'm gonna try to give him some help, but again, it's a tough match anyways. So a little gift, the extra Benny. as I'm the game master and this is my game, so I believe that is just enough help for Starv. Okay, so it's his turn. He did relieve Shaken, which means he can't do much. However, let's look at our inventory. He has a lantern, a net, a toolkit, rope. What could he do here with his items? There's really not much he can do. So he's going to... I'm going to say he's going to pass. There's not much he can do here. I might regret it, but we're going back to the main enemy here. Okay, so 2d8 to roll for Shaken, the bad guy. That's going to be, I'm sorry, not 2d8. D8 and a d6. The wild die, because he is a wild card. Okay, so he does lose the Shaken. Alright. And that's all he can do. Then it's her turn. Just a regular d6. That's... Oh, she does actually hit. She shoots and hits Starv. Starv is going to... We're going to roll for damage. It's another d6 with 2d6 with a weapon. Okay, that's actually a fail. Oh, 6. Toughness of 8. He's good. It's his turn. Takes another shot. Oh my gosh, this guy gets the good ones. Okay, so that's going to be a hit of 11. 4, so that's 8. That's 1 raise, which means he gets an extra d6 damage. So 2d6 typically. Now we're doing 3. My gosh, this is not looking good for Starv. I think he's in over his head on this one. We have... Oops. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm messing this up. I'm gonna re-roll that. There we go. Okay, so he has 12. I think that's actually 2, yeah. So, wait. That's a 4th, that's another raise. My gosh, I have to use the blue dice. These two here are so lucky, mainly that guy. Okay, so we had a raise off that 6, so that's what they came up. 12, 16, 17, 18. Toughness of 8. So we got 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 1 raise. 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 2 raises. Which means 2 wounds. And Shaken. Okay, so 2 wounds. We have to... He's going to soak it with his only Benny. He'll do the first one. It's going to be another a vigor check, which is the wild die and the d6. Hoping for some aces here. Well, the wild die aces. That's good. Oh. Okay, so what we got here is 11. That's 8. That's 1 raise, which means that actually takes off 1 wound, though it keeps... I believe I'm going to let loose the other one, but he's still shaken, and it cannot do anything just yet. I might have did that wrong, but let's move on. Next is this guy here. He stands up because he's becoming impatient, and he takes a shot at our shaken Starv. This will be a d6. Oh my god, a lot. These guys are acing today. Okay. 4, that's 10. That's obviously a raise, so extra d6 of damage, which will be a 3d6. Okay. So here we go. That aces. Starv is not... He's not looking good right now. 1. Okay. So, that's 11, 12, 13. That's going to be 1 raise over... So that's 1 wound. Starv is officially wounded and has no dice right now he can take. No bennies at the moment. Alright, so it's back to... Starv. We're going to do a shaken check, which is the spirit roll. It's a 2d6. It's a 2d6, and this will be the wild die and the. Oh, here it is. Target number 4, success. We're able to shake off that shaken, but he's still wounded, which does come with a penalty. However, I'm not going to imply a penalty. Okay, time for some craziness. So, as it's already pretty crazy, does anything insane happen? Question the Oracle. This is a 50-50 shot. I have something in reserve that I was planning at this moment, when Starv was just about halfway through this combat. 50-50 shot. Okay, the dice called it. Now, while it makes sense that the team is down here, this being a nuclear wasteland, suddenly something, because of all this noise and action and disruption in the environment, this large centipede pops up from behind the hill, because there's actually a drop here behind the road. This large centipede pops out of the ground, shaking the ground, rattling everybody nearby as they turn around in fear. And as this rattle happens, this guy falls down the hill, and he'll have to do I believe that's a vigor check to survive it. 4, that's a success. Okay, so he's okay. He's not shaken or anything. He survives it. This large centipede enters the combat, and now everybody is against this thing. This large, and this thing is actually going to be a wild card. A large mutated centipede the size of a bus. We have 3, another wild card here. We have a long-range combatant, and us. We're wounded. What do you think would Starv do here? He's vengeful. He's delusional. We haven't had any delusional moments here, but I think because we're in combat, he's fixated. He's focused on the actual combat, so he's not really hearing his wife's voice in the distance or seeing her, visioning her in the front of him. But there's this large centipede that is about to attack the 4 remaining diehards. And I'd say Starv is in the safest distance away. So, let's see how this works out. We're going to play out the combat with the centipede against the 4 diehards, while Starv is going to attempt a heal and recover. Now remember, his perk, his edge is scavenger, which means what I did before recording here, if I can find where I put it, is that I replaced one of his non-vital items to be a med pack, like an aid kit, giving him a way to heal. But this is a house where it takes 2 rounds to come by for him to apply. So he's going to apply bandages to try to heal up while this large centipede comes out of nowhere. Okay, so combat begins, and we're focused on the boss first. He turns around seeing this large centipede, and he takes a shot at it. He screams, he shouts centipede, and they all focus on. But the shooter, this guy up here looking back and forth at keep an eye on us, but also the large centipede, but again, it's closest. Who does the centipede focus on? 25%, let's see. I'm going to say 50% chance on her, closest by. Oh, 58. So he's actually going to go at the gatekeeper at the top there and go after him. So this monster's going to be a D8, like the boss. So he's well within range of pace. He snakes on up and attacks. This will be 2d8s. So what we'll do is roll 2d8s. If I can find it. There it is. And I'm sorry, I skipped the boss. Let's focus on the centipede for now. Going for parry of 4. That's a hit. Oh, actually, I can only roll 1d6 or 1d8 for his attack. is a wild die. Okay, so the 5 is a hit. Now he rolls the 2d8 for the damage. 4 and 8. Toughness of 6. That is a shaken. But with a -2, with his tail, we'll let him attack again as a frenzy. Or with a -2 penalty. This will be another wild die. Oh, that's an ace. Oh, that's another ace. Holy crap. Okay, so I need to find another d8. Alright, this is obviously just an extra d6 of damage. So d6 for the 2d8s of damage, -2. That's going to be 7, 13. No, I'm sorry, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's a hit. So he's dead. Alright, so the centipede eats him up. Literally, he bites and eats up that guy in whole. First, let me mark where the body is, because we've been doing that, just in case we loot. Okay. So the gatekeeper's gone. Now we go to the boss. So I messed up the tracking there. Alright. The boss opens fire at the centipede, which will be a d8 for shooting and a d6 for wild die. The 7's a hit, rolling 2d8s for damage. As I scream in horror, seeing this large creature. The d8 aces, and the toughness of this centipede is actually going to be 8. Try to keep things simple. So that's going to be 15, 20. Wow. Okay, it's 20. Let's see. That's going to be 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 1 raise. 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 2 raises. 3 raises. 20. That's 3 wounds. Wow. Okay, so that did not last long, if I'm not mistaken. He can take 3 wounds, and he's shaken. So 1 more wound, and this beast is out. He shoots the eye. That explains he's a boss character. He shoots the eye of the centipede. The centipede now has 3 wounds. 1 more, and he's out. And that's going to be a heavy penalty. Now it's the as he kind of sidesteps to the right, this guy's going to shoot at the centipede, but with just a generic d6. 3, that's a fail. She shoots. That's a fail. Now it's back to Starv. Okay, so Starv, we're going to do a healing, a d4. Because we have an item, I will apply a +2 on this roll with our wild die. +2, the wild die aces. Aces again. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. That's 12, 16, and let's see, 8, 12, 16. That's 2 raises. 3 raises. Okay, so 3 raises. What this will do is take up the wound, and he gets, for the other 2 raises, 2 bennies to help him out. I'm really feel like I'm spoiling him here, but I'm going to give him 2 bennies. However, he is still shaken for now. That's his turn. Okay, back to the centipede. The centipede is going to do a check here. He'll do a spirit check, which is a D8 and a wild die. To lose the shaking condition. 5 is success, so he's not shaken, but he still has a 3 wounds. I would apply a penalty on that, but I completely forgot. A -1 would still would have been a heal. A 4. So I'm moving forward. I'm sure I'm breaking all the rules here, but he can't do much because he's still wounded. So now it's going to be the boss's turn. He's sidestepped. They're both kind of walking downhill, or rushing downhill to shoot, even though I moved them at the same time. He's going to take another shot at the centipede. Now that'll be a D8. and the wild die d6. That's a hit. 4 is the target number. Especially an enemy that size, I should give him I should actually give him a +1 or 2. Now rolling for damage, which is a 2d8. The 5, unfortunately, his toughness is 8. That's not a hit. It bounces off his exoskeleton, his exterior, and now it's going to be her turn. She shoots, though she's just an extra. Whoops, that's a d8. My fault. That's a fail. It's going to be his turn. He's going to shoot. 4 is actually a hit. So now 2d6 for the gun. And that's on. Oh, okay, 6, 7, 8. That's actually a hit, and that's a shaken. But another shaken on top of a wound would be a. You know what I realize? I'm really. I might be assisting too much, but I forgot to give the GM a Benny based on player character count. So that's 1. He's going to soak that shaken. And that's, I completely forgot. I actually have not been using Bennies for the character, for the GM at all. That's like the first time, I think. So moving forward, he soaks that shaken. And now it's back to our character, Starv. So he's going to do a spirit check to lose the shaking condition. That's a fail, but we can always spend a Benny to lose it, so we will. Spend a Benny. And now he's going to actually take a shot at, because it's multi-action, I mean -1. He can take a shot at the boss right there. He's still focused, no matter this giant monster. He could shoot the monster and help them, but why would he do that? So he's going to take a shot at the boss. That's going to be a D8 for shooting, +1 scope. But because of the penalty, -1, I just won't include a bonus. That bonus. So here we go. We're shooting at the boss. That's going to be a hit. So the Desert Eagle is a 2d8. Here we go. Man, okay, so toughness is 8. That's 6, 7. That's not enough. But, that's not enough. Okay, next is going to be his turn. They're getting a little closer to Starv. Actually, I can't really be moving all of them at once. My mistake. All right, so he's gonna move over here and then take a shot at the centipede. Oh, you know what? I actually haven't done anything to the centipede yet. Centipede's turn, can't do much. He's going to move closer to the group, so he's going to go downhill. I'll say he can move 6, so he's about here. And he's going to attack the girl, but he will have a penalty with each. I'm going to say -3 on this attack. So this is going to be 2d8. Oops, I mean the wild die and a 2d8 and a d8. -3 on this roll. That's unfortunately not going to happen. So the centipede is just 2 injured. Okay, next is going to be her because she's close. She attacks with a close range weapon. Will be a basic d6. That's a fail. It's going to be the boss. He's going to shoot with his d8 shooting die and a wild die. The wild die aces, giving him a total of 11. That's 1 extra d6 damage. So let me grab the 2d8s that I typically use for the gun and an extra d6 for damage. That's going to be 6, 4, that's 10, 11. Okay, so, all right, the centipede has been defeated. Yeah, it's dead. So it collapses onto the ground and marked by a giant D8, or the giant X. X marks the spot where that thing died. All right, that's kind of how. Actually, I didn't really picture it going that way. All right, but the centipedes have been defeated, and now none of these enemies are actually injured. and it's back to Starve. No, I'm sorry, it's back to him. This guy turns around, and Starve has not left yet, has not fled. Starve probably could have moved from behind and struck from behind, but this guy's going to open fire at Starve. Starve's behind the truck, though, so there'll be a penalty for this. So -2 for obstruction. That's a 3. That's a miss. Now it's Starve's turn. Okay. Starve's going to pop out of cover and shoot at the closest range individual. This will be a D8 for shooting, +1 with the scope, and a D6 for wild die. Oh, the ace explodes. Or the 5, sorry. This aces here. And that's going to be, let's see, 13. That's 8. Well, that's 2 raises. So extra D6 damage. And then, even with the scope, I'm going to give him, let's see, those are equals 2d8s. Big money, big money. We have, all right, what do we got here? We have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's well over toughness of 6, killing him instantly. All right, now it's down to the remaining 2 combatants, the boss and the lady behind them. Okay, so it's now the boss's turn. He sees his comrades dwindling, saying, who's writing this shit, and takes a shot at Starv. This will be 2d8s. I'm sorry, the 8 and a d6 wild die. Ooh, okay, so the d6 aces, not good. 7, that's going to be, okay, that's actually just a success, so we got kind of lucky there. But it'll be 2d8s of damage, which is still pretty rough, but there's no extra d6 in this roll. Okay, so 9 is actually just a shaken, because our toughness is 8. There we go. And then it's her turn. She gets on the side, and she takes a shot, which is just a d6. Oops. 4 is, actually that's a hit. Rolling for damage. 3, that's not enough. Okay, now it's our turn. We're going to do a spirit check to lose that shaking condition. Whew, this one's pretty tight. 6 aces. 10. Okay, so that's actually 1 raise, which I'll give him a Benny for that. And he loses the shaken. And now it's back to, that's all he can do. Won't give him that much. Now it's back to him. And he's in cover. Now here's what a free action this guy will do. There needs to be some dialogue here. He shouts, "Who the hell are you? What are you doing here?" Just to that effect. And Starv replies, "I'm here to kill you." And then it's going to be, and then now he'll attack. So now he shoots at Starv. The wild die and the d8 for shooting. Ooh, the 8 aces. 4. So that's going to be 12, which is an extra. Well, our toughness is 8. So that's 1 extra d6 damage. So 2d8s for damage and an extra d6. Oh my gosh. Okay, 7, 14. All right, that's 19 total damage. Holy mackerel. So 19 total damage. We had this before, so there's my key. Toughness of 8. That's 2 raises. I'm sorry. That's yep. That's 2 raises. Okay. Which means it's 2 wounds, but we do have the 2 bennies we can soak. So the first one, I'm going to try to soak. Here, let's move the dice off the camera. This will be a vigor roll, which will be D8. And success with the wild die, 8. That's gonna be for that raise. I'm gonna go ahead and keep. Oh, you know what? Success and a raise. He's able to lose the shaking condition. I forgot to put in there, and the one wound. That's all he can do. All right. So he's wounded, but he lost the shaking condition. If that even makes sense. So that's just the penalty for now. He's hurt, but we spent a Benny on that. Forgot to put away there. Next is her turn. She takes a shot. She says, "I'll finish him off, boss." And then she takes a shot at our hero. Well, not necessarily a hero, but our main character, which will be a D6. Okay, that's exploding D6. 3, 7, 8, 9. That's one raise, so one extra D6 for damage over the target number 4 for distance. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's going to be 11, 12, 13, 14. And that's going to be toughness of 8. So it's one raise, which means that it's one wound. But we're going to soak it with our D8 and a wild die. And success. He's able to soak that wound, the fresh wound he just got, not the current one. You can't soak past wounds from a round ago. All right, so even with that great shot, he's able to soak it. But he's out of bennies right now. He's down to nothing. Okay, now it's our character's turn, Starv's turn. He's going to, he is just lit. He is enraged, blood. He's blood in his eyes. He is desperate. He's going to rush up to the boss, as well within range, and attack head on. Let's just say he's out of ammo. He's clicking. He's holding his gun. He throws the Desert Eagle onto the ground. He does not care about it anymore. I'm going to lose that weapon on him. Oh, not the Desert Eagle. His carbine. So I'm going to remove that from his inventory. He loses ammo. I could do an ammo check, but to be honest with you, just for the cinematic flair, he's going to click. No ammo left. Just ammo for his Desert Eagle. He's going to rush. There's no ammo for anything at all. And pull out his brass knuckles and going to rush the boss. Now, let's get some details on this guy before this craziness unwinds here. This guy's name is, let's see. Okay, so this guy's name is Narv. Written right there. So Narv is his name. We'll be calling him from now on. And we're going to roll for attack here. Starv against Narv. Not too original, but we're going with it. Starv attacks Narv. A D8 for the fighting die and a wild die D6. The wild die, toughness of the parry is 4 universal, so that is a hit. The brass knuckles is a strength die, which is a D6. And the wild die, D4, the weapon. There it is. Roll for damage. Got a 4 and a 1, that's 5. And that's not enough. He takes a swing, and he hits him in the chest or on the armor. Toughness is 8. Now it is Narv's turn. He's going to attack with his fighting die with D8. He throws his weapon down and clearly sees this is now. He's also out of ammo, so cinematically he tried to take a shot at Starv, but his gun's also out of ammo, coincidentally. Roll for attack. 5 is actually a miss. It's her turn. She's going to take a shot with her gun, and this will be a D6. Oh, The extras have been acing today. That's going to be 7, 8, 9. That's an extra d6 of damage. So 3d6. There we go. No bennies left. Already wounded, and I forgot to consider penalties. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's actually just a shaken, luckily. So he is wounded. I think that would be another wound. Actually, it would be another wound. So now he has 2 wounds, which is not good. Alright, so he has 2 wounds. This is not looking too good for our character. I don't think he's going to survive this one. Alright, now it's his turn. He's going to he's still focused on Narv here. So what he's going to do, he's getting desperate. He's going to lunge at Narv, grab him, and take himself and Narv out at the same time. So he's going to grapple him with his hands, and tug him off the hill. This will be a strength check with a d6 and a wild die. He's desperate. He doesn't care about surviving, so the 4 is actually a success. So here we go. He grabs Narv and plunges they plunge down this hill. They roll down the hill, and they collapse at the very bottom. She's going to run up to the side and see what happened. And we're going to do a survival check for Narv and Starv. Starv Narv sounds like a comedy duo. So trying to figure out how to do this with the rules. Let's see. Wild die, and this most likely will be a vigor check for both characters, and they both have similar stats. So did Starv survive this? He did not. He took a 3rd wound. Again, I did not apply a penalty for that action. Now, did Narv survive this? He got a wound. Okay, so, and while she watches them tumble down the hill. So I'm going to leave it here. The next episode, this one's been a solid hour and completely insane what happened. But Starv grappled Narv and threw him down the hill together, not caring about his own life. He just wants to kill this guy and get it done with. So that's where we're going to leave off. Next episode will be, unfortunately, obviously I can't save the drawings I do, so I'll try to go back to what it was before, or if there was a slight time jump, it might be something different, or on the side of the mountain. So they tumble down the mountain, and they obviously suffer a wound. So that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. This was intense, and I'll see you next time.